Sounds like it's working. Yeah, that definitely sounds good enough for me. Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to SRL. We are here for round number 2 here at the Suzuka International Circuit, located in Japan. We come off a very controversial, should we call it, Australian Grand Prix. Not a lot of finishes due to simulation damage, which has been kept on for this race. This is the final race in the evaluation process of simulation damage. We're currently in Q1. We will be losing 2 drivers this qualifying session, P16 and 17. But yeah, I suppose I'll start off as I did last week. Hang on, we'll ride on board with Clar. Actually, I'll do a track guide first, as Clar is about to start a lap. So we'll ride on board with the Ferrari. Finished, well, could have got P2 last week, but crashed before the line, so he went down to P4. But still a points finish for the Ferrari anyway. But here we go then, let's ride on board with the Ferrari for our lap of Suzuka. Now down the back straight, going to be one of the big overtaking opportunities here into turn 1 and 2, which is literally just called turn 1 for the pair of the corners. Braking hard, 4th gear, not want to touch either of the apex curbs. Now into the famous S section. Every driver loves this section. It's absolutely beautiful if you hook it up perfectly, and it's looking pretty good for the Ferrari. Now into Dunlop curve, rounding 6th gear, lovely stuff, keeping the car in the centre of the circuit. Now into the 2 Degners. Degner 1, completely just throw the car in and hope it sticks. It has done very nicely for Clar. A little bit of a wiggle out of Degner 2. Now into Hairpin, which is turn number 11. Here, another overtaking opportunity this race weekend. Now coming back down on the power, nice and early through turn number 12, coming up to Spoon. Pretty bold overtaking opportunity if you go for a overtaking to Spoon. Definitely possible, but you've definitely got to have trust in the other driver. But now out of that, now into the beautiful 130R corner. Absolute serious commitment if you want to make an overtake at this corner. Flat out easy 8th gear, 295 kilometers an hour, keeping right to the left for the Casio Triangle. The last of these corners at the Suzuka circuit. It's been a very lovely lap from Clark. Rounding the last corner now, up to the line, 28.7 is the first lap time on the board for this qualifying session for Q1. SRL Apollo goes P2 with the 31.5. Gets a few notes. We have Gangster Al managed to make it in this week. So he's back in his usual Haas seat. I think that's... we also have a debutant, 5 Crown. Got a full-time seat in the Aston Martin, so he'll be partnering Eclipse for the remainder of the season. Battled 5 in the past, he's a pretty good driver. Paperstream goes P2 in the Haas. Yeah, 5, very solid driver. Had a title battle with him in a different league about a season ago, which was absolutely lovely stuff. Brando goes P2 in the AlphaTauri. But yeah, looking back at last week, Reese was the winner of the Australian Grand Prix, followed by Pete, Paperstream, Clar and Eclipse, the 5 to finish the absolutely chaotic Australian Grand Prix for the rerun that we had. It was 5 Crown invalidates going through Degner 1, very easy to do, especially at a circuit like this. Eclipse picks up a penalty for a collision with the spare. Not exactly sure what's happened there. Despair seems to be on a lap right now, but no doubt I'll hear about that either in the stewards room later on, or maybe in the Discord chat after the race. It'll definitely be one of the two. But so while I guess we just have the drivers driving around the track for a few minutes, I might as well do what I did last week. So the Suzuka International Circuit then, 3.6 miles of Japanese tarmac, or 5.8 kilometers if you're using the other one. 18 corners. It's the only circuit on the F1 calendar to be a figure of 8. Its first Grand Prix was in 1987, after it took over from the Fuji circuit, and then did all but 2 races, which was 2007 and 8, where they went back to the Fuji Speedway. But ever since 2009, Suzuka has been a permanent fixture on the F1 calendar, barring 2020 and 2021, where we couldn't race there due to the ongoing pandemic. And then, as I said on the hot lap, main action spots that we could be looking for is turns 1 and 2, turn 11, the hairpin, 130R, Spoon 130R, and the Casio Triangle, doing it in order. So there's going to be a fair few overtaking opportunities this race. So, Brando did want me to check this actually, so I will check. This helmet does suit this car, to be fair. I was hoping it's the glory helmet for him. He won a race last night using that helmet, so he's hoping it's going to bring him the same luck this time round. And he is currently, well, at least P2. Klar at the moment just clear of everyone else by almost a second. Klar's lap was definitely full on for, I guess, everyone else. Maybe for him as well, but don't really know. With Klar, maybe it was a bit of a reserve lap for him. We'll never know. But so 10 minutes left of this qualifying session. We have Andrew crossing the line to go P5 in the Alpine. He does have his teammate alongside him this time. It's Butler. He was here last week as well, but both Alpines failed to finish. We'll quickly get these standings up. Standings. Okay. So yeah, Reese heads up the standings on 15 points. Pete P2 on 12. Paperstream P3 on 10. FRT Klar P9 with a 4th and fastest lap, and then Eclipse on 6 points after finishing 5th. No other driver scoring due to all of the DNFs that we had last week. The constructors then, it's also pretty easy to work out. You have Alfa Romeo P1, Red Bull P2, Haas P3, Ferrari P4, and then Aston Martin P5. It was only, yeah, each of the 5 finishers were in 5 different teams, so that's definitely why we have a pretty big spread so far, I suppose, in terms of the constructors, but should probably start, providing everything goes well this race at least, we should have a pretty back to normality week with a bit of luck. I guess so far with with weather, we're looking at dry at the moment. I don't actually know what the weather is, and I kind of want to keep it that way. It's a nice surprise if it ends up raining or not. Brando is retired in the pits. He is happy with his time. I definitely would be as well, considering only 2 people are going to get eliminated and 15 people would have to improve and beat Brando for him to be knocked out, so definitely has no need to go again. But currently in that drop zone we have Butler and Bradford, sorry. Butler about to set that right, coming around the last corner now for the Alpine, across the line into P4, knocking Tazonic down into the relegation zone. But Taz will definitely be on a lap himself. I can't do the broadcast camera through here because it just looks laggy. Oh, there we go. Taz might just be on an out lap or just setting a little banker lap. There's no real need to push too hard, I suppose. Andrew retires in the pits. He's also done enough. I guess the usual suspects that I would say to be eliminated are Eclipse and Richard, but I'm not entirely sure, so I guess that's the safest options for those two at least. But Eclipse, usually talk to him during the week. He says, especially today, he's struggling a lot with this circuit, not being able to use the curbs, not being able to kind of keep the car going exactly how he wants to, but I think he's got most of that sorted now, from a setup standpoint at least. Tazonic coming around the last couple of corners now. I think maybe a reserved lap, or is he just setting up for another one? I think he's setting up for another one because he's now using ERS, but P11 at the moment for the Ferrari. So we'll just let the car go round on its own here. But through the S section now, chucking the car in. Absolutely lovely stuff so far from the Ferrari. But the Ferrari pair are definitely going to be the big ones this season to watch. Two incredibly solid drivers at the wheel of the SF21, I believe that chassis is. It would be the SF21. Or is it the SF1000? No, the SF1000 was last year, so it's the SF21. I don't know, Ferrari are weird naming their cars. But this is the Ferrari with a maroon pair of underwear on, because the back of it is just maroon. And the front of it is the usual scarlet red. A matte finish, usually. Well, the last couple of years, the Ferrari's been a matte finish, as opposed to the metallic scarlet red. But it still looks a pretty nice car, especially the onboard at least. It's just the pair of underwear on it is just not the one for me personally, but their 2022 Challenger does look absolutely beautiful. But Tazonic in the 2021 car, P4, 129.9, just sneaking ahead of Butler. With Richard in the Mercedes, so run on board, or run off board, I say, with the W12. The second and the last of the black Mercedes. We had 2020 and 2021 with a black Mercedes. We're now back to the silver. I've seen a lot of love-hate to the 2022 Mercedes. I personally love it, but I could also understand the other side of that coin. To be fair, for me personally, nothing really compares or comes close to the 2019 Mercedes. The silver that fades to black is just gorgeous. Rather than, I guess, what we have here, which is black fades to silver. But Richard, using his Mercedes, go P15, 133.6. Eclipse and Bradford, the two drivers in the drop zone so far. Reese, last week's race winner, currently invalidated. Still going again. Has Despair, he's invalidated. Gangster Al has not. So he's a run on board with the Haas. Very, very conservative through Dunlop there, is to not make any form of mistake. It's a 10th down. Invalidates through Degner 1. And into the gravel. Keeps it out of the walls though. That's the main thing, keeps away from damage. Let's have a quick catch up on Twitch chat, I suppose. Brando, I was blocked by 5 clowns. Is that you were blocked by 5, or you were actually blocked by 5 people? If you're blocked by 5 people, that is just miraculous. Not in a good way. That's pretty dismal. And 5 says hi. Hello, 5. Let's run on board with the Mercedes of Havoc. 3.5 tenths up on his time. Just the clown. Very, very understandable. It's hitting the apex of the hairpin. Lovely is Havoc. Nice and early on the power as well. Car agreeing with him. Very nicely indeed. Peak the tyres. We're going to probably see a lot of retirements now in the last 2 minutes of qualifying. Just no need to improve on your time nows. Unless you're, I guess, in the bottom few positions, especially the likes of P14, 15, 16 and 17, so Gangster Owl down, will definitely be looking to improve on their times. Havoc coming into the Casio Triangle now to finish his lap. Had to turn out the corner there, it's going to slightly affect his rhythm. As Reese goes P4, but Havoc across the line now, and he jumps up to P9. But, Apollo has actually crashed in the S section, so he will actually be starting P15. So that could at the moment be 3 that we could be losing if it stays like this. Bradford has decided not to go out on the track, so he is starting last. And there we go, there's the confirmation. Brad is starting in last position. Eclipse coming around now to start his lap. Spare is invalidated, but he went P6 anyway, so he is perfectly safe. Reese is safe as well. That is Havoc. Gangster Owl coming to the end of his lap now. Richard is in the pits, he won't be able to improve. Gangster Owl, 32.7. Eclipse, a little bit wide through the S section there from Eclipse. Very wide indeed. Always touch the curb and round he goes. Nibble at the wall. Might be damaged, but that's Eclipse's qualifying over as well. So the 3 eliminated are SRL Apollo, Eclipse PGR, and A Bradford 22. Brad not setting a lap, Apollo crashing out in the S section, and Eclipse spinning on his last lap, meaning that he cannot improve. It's been qualifying 1 then, so just waiting for the drivers to come back to the pits and gear up for qualifying 2, where we will be losing 4, and then we'll be progressing to the top 10 shootout. Ooh. But as expected, FRT Clark tops the timing sheets with a 128.7. Greg starts P2 with a 129.3. Brando P3 with a 129.6. 29.7 from Reese, 29.8 from Tazonic, and 29.9 from Despair. Very close between 4th, 5th and 6th. And then even 7th and 8th, only about a 10th adrift of each other as well. Or if that, with Butler 7th, P8th, Andrew 9th, 30.3, Havoc in 10th with a 30.4, 5 just missing out on the top 10, but this is not the session that matters, with a 30.5, Paperstream P12, 31.2, didn't quite get to the rest of them. There we go then, so yeah, class 6/10 clear of everyone else. It's absolutely on fire. So whereabouts did I get to? Gangster Owl 32.7, Richard 33.6, and then yeah, the 3 out of qualifying. SRL Apollo 31.5, which would have put him P13. Eclipse P16 with a 5-place grid penalty, but with a time of 136.7, and then Bradford with no time, but Bradford will be elevated to P17 and Eclipse down to P16. Butler in chat. Clara's a sad act. Why join a league to be 9/10 quicker than 3rd? Clearly got an ego problem. I mean, I don't see the fun. Like, when you're that much quicker than everyone else, there's not a lot of fun in that. Like, personally, yeah, there's a bit, like you say, a bit of an ego thing, but I suppose is an extra number on the grid. But then again, he did make a fair few mistakes last week. At Australia, he got that penalty. He was overtaken by Reese with a couple of laps, well, literally 2 laps to go. he got the penalty, and then technically he didn't even finish the race, but yeah, Clark definitely clear of everyone else at the moment. Oh, as Andrew goes for a spin through turn 1 and 2. Well, hell to keep that out of the barriers though. Apollo, there was a Komodo dragon on the track. Had to swerve to avoid it. Okay, I'll let you off then, Apollo. If you're not endangering wildlife, then I'm sure we can. We'll be fine with that. We'll build the circuit for your car's repair bill. But, Butler exactly ruins the fun of the league. Yeah, I do agree with that. To be fair, I'd much rather be battling people than be miles clear. It's just no fun. But each to their own. So far, quite a big strategy split. Well, moderate strategy split at the moment. Pete and Reese, although Pete is the only one out on track at the moment. So Pete out on track on the mediums. Reese, Despair, Greg Stars and Richard already with the same compound. Everyone else opting for the softs, having a fair few spinners already. Who will be first? It'll be Andrew first to start a lap this qualifying session in the Alpine in L Plan. Hopefully he has a L Plan to get further up the grid this weekend. But, making amends for last week as well. He's not even using any ERS or DRS, so it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal lap. And let's run on board with 5, who, there you go, is using DRS now. Wasn't initially, but let's do a lap then with 5 ground. Turn 2, holding 4th gear. Into the S section, keeps it in 6th, now down to 5th. Uses the curb, very unusual. Usually want to stay away from those, but 5 has set up his car so he can use curbs. It's now through the Dunlop, a little bit wide, but it shouldn't affect him too much. Now into Degner 1 and 2. A little bit of a braking down to 6th from 5 there. Using 3rd gear as well through Degner 2, that's a bit interesting. Maybe scrubbed off a tiny bit too much speed in Degner 1. 2nd gear for the hairpin. Doesn't short shift to 3rd, gives a little bit of a rear end loss because of it. It's a couple of tenths, I guess, lying on the table for him at the moment, but don't need to go all out at the moment. Completely fair game so far. Now through Spoon, takes the much wider line. Ooh, understeers away from the second part though. That's going to really affect his run into 130R and the rest of the lap. But the Aston Martin, still a decent lap so far from the number 2. Into 130R now, easy flat, no matter what car. So now the Casio Triangle braking hard down in 2nd gear. Doesn't make full use of the curbs, but still very neat and tidy at least. Up to the line now, it is going to be 130.4 from 5 there. We have Pete. We do have we do have Pete. Will be the next driver to set a lap time in the Red Bull. 33.3 on the medium tyres. Slots in P3. Gangster Al P2. 131.9 from the Haas. The other Haas coming to the end of a lap by the looks of it. So right on board with Paper Stream. Or a little bit deep into the Casio Triangle. So gets it nice and straightened out on exit. Up to the line. Shouldn't lose him too much time. 31.2 goes ahead of his teammate by 7 tenths so far. So advantage Paper Stream in this little battle. Havoc goes P1 with 130.2. Good lap from the Mercedes there. But, Clark is backed out of his lap. So we'll have Despair, I believe, will be the next driver to set a lap. But, using a fair bit of curb on the run out of the hairpin. But, keeping all the way to the right on the run up to Spoon. And down a gear. Uses the curb and a couple more, keeps the car relatively nice and tidy. Now the run up to 130R, not quite getting a slipstream off the car in front, but so far looks like a purple. Well, it looks like purple, but then again you can't really trust this game. It said purple on the map, but I'm not sure how much I agree with it. But up to the line, definitely could be. Yeah, 29.5, so it is purple. SRL out of spare on the medium tyres in the AlphaTauri Honda-powered car. Engine suppliers home race as well for both Honda and Red Bull. Greg Stars is the other Red Bull to set a lap time. 29.8. Very good lap from Greg Stars there, only 3 tenths off the spare. But Clark, I think, is actually on a lap now. Yeah, ERS is draining, so run on board with the Ferrari for the rest of his lap then. Into the spoon. Keeps it nice and tight on the second part of it. Lets the car run as wide as it needs to. Now the run up to 130 yards completely flat. All you need to do is keep your foot pinned, turn the car ever so slightly, and it will definitely grip like that. Easy flat in these cars. It sends it through the Cassia triangle, using as much curve as you like. Lovely stuff there. Keeps the run very short up to the line, 28.6. That's almost 9 tenths clear of the spare. That's the Ferrari back up into the P1 slot, as was the same in Q1, sorry. We'll have Butler will be next to start a lap, I believe. Ride on with Butler, the number 21 in the Alpine. About to start lap now. On the soft tyres, we've only got 3 people so far, or I think maybe 2 people actually. I think Andrew went out on soft, rather than the mediums. But only 2 people to actually set lap time so far on the mediums. Everyone else is opted for the softs. Although Andrew looks to be now on the mediums as well. Maybe that's why he went so slow on his first lap. But lovely turn 1 and 2 for Butler. Now sending it through the S section. Oh, he's clipped the curb. Round he goes. Oh, that's a tyre gone. It's qualifying over for Butler. Just slightly bit too much curb. And the car's not liked it. Really unfortunate for Butler. There's 1 of 4 that we've lost then. Only another 3 left. Oh, Taz absolutely destroys that curve in the Ferrari. Through Dunlop curve for Tazonic now. 32.5 in the first sector. 4th gear. Lovely throttle out of Degma 2 up into the hairpin. 2nd gear clips the apex nicely. It's getting a little bit overcast. Lovely gearing as well on the exit for Tazonic. Through spoon curve now. Using plenty of the curb. Keeps the car relatively centred. It's going to set him up nicely for the run through 130R to the Cassia triangle. It's braking, run about 100 metres. Does that nicely. Turns the car in. Keeps clear of the curbs, which is pretty interesting. Up to the line now for Tazonic. P3 in the Ferrari. So it's a 1-3 so far for the Scuderia. Is Risco's P5 on the medium tyres in the Alfa Romeo. Brando is on an out lap. Andrew is currently on a lap. Richard doesn't have a front wing. He's coming back to the pits. So we'll see the Alpine finish his lap. Sim damage is a C word. Enough said. Sim damage is not the one sometimes. It's very, very unforgiving indeed. But, as I did mention in Q1 anyway, this is basically the last part of the evaluation. We'll see how tonight goes, and we'll kind of decide the future of it from there. I'm not going to promise anything. I'm not going to promise it will be turned off. I'm not going to be promised it will be kept on, because we really don't know. It just depends on, I guess, how this race goes. Is that rain? No, that's just the finish of the Alpine. Never mind. But the Alpine has finished his lap as well. 31.0 0 for Angel on the medium tyres. But, so far as well, Gangster Owl currently going through to Q3. I'm sure Haas would love that. Both cars in the top 10. We have Pete, Richard, and Brando. Left to set their lap times. Brando currently on a lap now in the AlphaTauri. It's really annoying that there's no real good off-board through the S section. Well, one of them is, the other is just like an on-board that goes really framey. It's like really weird. Through Digna 1 for Brando. You do realise Singapore and Baku are next? Yes, I do. If sim damage was to stay on, my only advice is everyone needs to be careful. That was the advice that was given into this race as well. Australia usually is a bit of a mare. Ooh, has Reese binned it? I think he has. He's down into P10 now. So I think Reese is gone. So that would be him starting P10 at the highest anyway. Unless Brando and Pete can improve. Brando currently on a very good lap. Alpine gets well out of the way. It's up to the line now for the AlphaTauri. P2, 29.3 on the soft tyres there. I don't know if I saw some tyres there or not. I don't know if I'm hallucinating. Pete currently backing off a little bit. Just making sure he gets out of the way for Gangster Owl, who, if he improves, if he can beat Reese, he will be in the top 10. Doesn't do that either, as I say. With Alfie just saying, I'm on mediums, don't know why it says softs on the stream. Yeah, flicking between the two, it still says softs. That's very interesting. But, I'll take your word for it. 5 says sim, interesting. Yep, we do run sim damage, at the moment at least, in this league. So, hopefully there's a bit of incentive for drivers to keep their noses clean at turn 1. Especially lap 1, and then I guess in general a lot more. We have had a lot of history where drivers just ram into the side of each other when battling, which is not ideal. But we'll see how this race goes. We'll go from there. But Pete, currently very neat and tidy through the S section, keeping it in 5th gear pretty much all throughout. Now through into the Degnas. Degnas 1 and 2, flicks the car in, tiny bit of braking. 3rd gear on exit. About average for what you want at a Degna 2, 3rd gear. Into the hairpin, slight lock up, but it's got away with it. Short shift up into 3rd, and plant the power, foot to the floor. The car coped with it very nicely indeed. But into spoon for the Honda powered Red Bull. Pretty nice line through there. Now up to 130R. I think this basically this will be the last time it's officially called Honda. It's now, I guess, called Red Bull Powertrains, but I guess it's still Honda. I think, from what I can gather from social media. I don't know about AlphaTauri though, because AlphaTauri still have a load of Honda sponsoring, so I don't know what's happening with that. But Pete goes P5 in the Red Bull. Okay, there are tyres there. Pete goes 5th. Oh, that explains it, because Despair is out as well. Because he's P9 on a 29.5. Would have been P3. Paper Stream. I think he's here. No, I don't think Paper Stream's out. I think he was. It's really hard to tell. But that's Q2 over then, so we've lost a fair few then. So we've lost LR Despair, Reese, Simo, Paper Stream, Gangster Owl, Richard and Butler. So that it'll be a top 8 shootout rather than a top 10. Not nearly as catchy, I don't think, as a yeah, top 8 shootout isn't as catchy as top 10, to be honest. Alfie's saying he did his lap on me. I mean, you did a 28.6 on mediums. Please, please touch some grass. Apparently Rich drove out and was reset to track. Did I catch any of that? Not that I'm aware of. I couldn't really see too much. Hang on, I've got to catch up on a little bit more here. Very interesting line from Peter. You ready for we want sim damage off? I won't ask for it unless the race is destroyed. Yeah, if the race is destroyed, then I can see the reasoning. Like, if it's another Australia, I can see the reasoning. But if it's just people being idiots, then it's just like, stop being idiots, you know. RF1, P1, 2 and 3, yes indeed. Alright, let's have a quick look at general chat then. Let's see what's popping. What am I even supposed to be watching? I can see 5 apparently blocking people. Is that? No, hang on. Get to 20%. I'm sandbagging my mouth. Someone parked. I want to be free of this pain. Good game, at least I'm not 10th. I'm just going to start in sauce. Mediums are clear. What part of this am I supposed to be? Get a life, get swift cover. RB and Alpha have HRC. Oh. Eh? I'm Brando. So if Alfie wins, I'm getting P2, and I'm P2, I get awarded P1. Yes. See, what we're going to do, we're going to keep, like, if for every time Alfie, gets a win, or, like, to be fair, no matter where he finishes, everyone above him is moved up. Alfie's just his own division. He just does what he wants. Right, let's turn this down a little bit more. There we go. Cool, cool. Right, it's Honda sticker. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I definitely know it is for the AlphaTauri. I just haven't seen Honda on the Red Bull. So I know, like, haven't really seen anything on the Red Bull, but I'm sure I can look after the race or something. Oh, the frames. So this is what I mean. I'm going to quickly flick it back and just see it goes like 4 frames a second. This is my PC every time I try and run ACC. It just wants to catch fire. Starting P14 might be the safest place. I do agree. I would definitely rather start last than in the middle of the pack or first, especially at a track like Suzuka. I would, yeah, definitely want to be at the back. Or I guess the very front as well, and you just got to get like a lightning start so you're not near anyone. Either of those two, really. But knowing my start record, they're not overly good. Actually, no, I do have one really good start that I've done that I'll be forever proud of. Oh, Brando, don't hit the wall, please. One start I will forever be proud of is the one time I did the second time I did a Div 1 race. It was at this track as well. I got Platinum and Zai off the line, and I was momentarily leading a Division 1 race. Forever in my heart that I managed to do that. We will ignore Imola the week before where I was leading that as well, but that was because of soft tyres and everyone else was on mediums. But I'll take what I can get. Not the most achieved career, I suppose, but one I'm definitely proud of. Anyway, back to the action. We have Brando coming through the S section now, in the AlphaTauri. Oh, a little bit wayward in the first part of it, that could affect his line for the rest of it. No, he seems to have recovered it nicely. Nibbles the curb, but gets away with it. Probably got the car up on stilts, very high ride height, basically what you need to do at this track. Sends it into the Degner. Oh, just about within track limits. Keeps it in 7th gear, very interesting stuff. But now into the hairpin. Was very aggressive on the direction change there in the little kink of turn 10. Now through number 12, keeps all the way to the right. Just absolutely minimising that run to Spoon, now braking hard. Down to 5th gear. Oh, a little bit wide through Spoon, he's just clipped the curb. Got away with it though. It's just upset the car a tiny bit. But maybe could affect him for the rest of this lap up until Casio. Wait and see, but still looking relatively decent from Brando. Braking hard now into the Casio triangle using all of the curbs. 5 crowns crashed in the first sector. Brando up to the line now. P1 129.5 is the provisional pole time. They all need to chase after. Tazonic maybe got a toe off his teammate there because I just saw Clar off the track, but Ferrari's working together. Lovely stuff. Up to the line now. 29.0 from Tazonic. P1 by half a second. Clar with 144.8. Absolutely unbeatable pace from the other Ferrari there. I don't think anyone's going to be able to match that time. Havoc, the next driver across the line now. Up to the line, DRS wide open, P3, 130.0 for the Mercedes. Next will be the Alpine of Andrew. I think it's just the 2 Red Bulls. But just riding on board then with the Alpine through Spoon. Stays off the curb, keeps relatively centred. 2 Ferraris are running line astern at the moment, by the looks of it on the minimap. But Andrew, so far, says purple, middle sector. Into the Casio triangle now. Rides the curbs, rotates the car through. Number 94, up to the line. Where's it going to be? P4, 130.1, just behind Havoc. But Clara's invalidated. Pete is on an outlap at the moment. So we'll see when Pete gets round then what kind of lap he can do. 5 in chat says the same curb. That's the same curb that caught you out a couple of times in RF1 then by the sounds of it. Interesting stuff, but I mean P8, not overly bad to start in. Well, I don't know actually, P8 is basically slap bang in the middle of the pack. Might not be the one then. I know what you said 5, but I'm not using. I won't use bad language on stream, thank you. But, Pete about to start his flying lap. DRS wide open, opening the letterbox of the rear wing. Coming down the start-finish straight past all of the Honda boards. I wonder if they'll still be there next game. I'll have to wait and see. But through turns 1 and 2, chucks the car in nicely. Car keeping relatively honest so far. Absolutely using those curbs. A little bit unsighted though for the end of the S section. Might not have affected him too much though. Keeps it nice and centred out of Dunlop. Into the Degners now, throws the car in 6th gear, just a short downshift. The engine brake, sorry. Down into 6th gear, and then out of the other Degner. Now around the hairpin. Very nice apex there. Short shift up to 3rd. Now keeping relatively centred actually, rather than taking the full right line into the Spoon curve. Everyone's staying away from the second part of Spoon. It's very interesting to see different lines being taken. But, through 130R now for the Red Bull. 12.7 in the first two sectors. That is pretty quick. This could be a very, very good time indeed from the Red Bull. Chucks it through the Cassia triangle, using all the curbs he needs to. Full throttle now to the line. And it's going to be a 129.5, only just slower than Brando. Lovely stuff there then from the first of the Red Bulls. Now it's right on board with the other one and see where he can get in this qualifying session. 3.5 minutes to go, so we're going to see the last few cars coming out now to start their final runs of this qualifying session. Greg Stars chucks it in and the car bites up to the line now. It's a 129.3 P2 for Craig Stars. Brilliant lap from the two Red Bulls, very impressed. But Brando then through the S section now. There we go, now we get the good camera angles. But, Brando is basically matching his time through the first sector. Now coming through the middle, can he gain any more time throughout this lap? On the anchors, round the hairpin, lovely line through there. Car tries to snap away but keeps it in check very nicely. Keeping all the way to the left, to the right, sorry, up to Spoon curve. Chucks the car in, uses the first curve. Stays a bit closer to the second curve that time. Shortens up the line through to 130R. Now lets the car drift to the centre of the circuit. And then to the right to chuck it in 3 and a bit tenths up. It's going to be a really good lap so far from Brando, as long as he can keep it together in the last few corners now. Into the Cassia triangle. Chucks the car in, uses the curbs ever so nicely. Now up to the line, keep the power under control, and up to the line. What's it going to be? 29.2 P2. No one able at the moment to match Tizonix time, although I suspect it's about to be matched and absolutely usurped by the other Ferrari. Here he comes, rounding the last couple of corners now. Full throttle, 5th gear, up to the line. It's a 28.5 from Clark. Pole position at the moment belongs to him, unless someone else can pull out an absolutely worldy lap time to try and be able to beat him. Pete is up on his time. Actually, is there anyone ahead of him on track? No, it will be Pete, because everyone else is on an out lap or an in lap. Running on board with the Red Bull then, seeing if he can extract any more time out of this lap. But, even if he finds, well, half a second will get him P2. Picks up a bit of the toe from the Ferrari, and then moves out of the way last second to avoid contact, but has that gained him? Might have gained him a tiny bit, but 3 tenths up. Good enough for P3 at the moment if he keeps the lap together. Through the Cassia triangle now, absolutely chucks it in. Rotates the car doesn't complain. Now keeps it to the right, up to the line. P3, 129.1, just ahead of Brando. It's Brando. I don't think he has enough fuel to go again. Fuel light's flashing. Ooh, Havoc's gone for a spin in the first sector. Be very careful when you're rejoining Havoc, because you do have another car coming round. Stays out of the way of the Alpine of Andrew. Could have definitely been a bit disastrous if that had gone wrong. But, well, hang on. Tizonix, no, Tizonic's not improving. Well, not yet at the moment. And Alfie's coming back into the pit lane. So the only driver I believe left to set a lap time, well this time round at least, is Andrew. Can he match Clark's pace of 128.5? 5 tenths clear of the next car. But so far, Ferrari 1-2, unless the Alpine of Andrew has anything to say about it. We'll have to see the sector split coming up in just a moment's time. Is he up on his time? Oh, he's 6 tenths down. At the moment, definitely not challenging for P1. A bit more of a deep line through the Cassia Triangle. Don't think this is going to gain him too much. No, he's definitely down on the time. Doesn't improve. Havoc went for a spin earlier, so he won't improve. Tazonic coming back into the pits as well. He will not be improving. And Pete is out of fuel. So then, that is qualifying over for the second week in a row. FRT Clark in the Ferraris on pole position. Tazonic P2 in the other Ferrari. Pete in P3 for the Red Bull. Being splitting both of the Red Bulls is the sister team, the AlphaTauri of Brando in P4, Greg Stars then P5 in the other Red Bull. 6 is Havoc in the Mercedes, Andrew Alpine in 7th, and then 5 Crown in the Aston Martin, rounding out the top 8 that partook in Q3. It's going to be pretty interesting to see the strategy split when we get into the race. I'd imagine it's probably dry. Well, I'd definitely imagine it's dry for the start at least. We'll have to wait and see about the end of the race perhaps. Maybe a little bit of rain on the cards at the very end, but definitely have to wait and see what awaits us then here at Suzuka. There you go, just confirming the top lot there. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the Yarno Otmir avatar. But, 5 in chat, ruining the weather for me. Thank you, 5. Lovely stuff as always. Would have liked to keep it a surprise, but there you go. Trying to build up suspense here. But he's gone and ruined it. But it's fine, because you know what? Even though I know, I won't tell the viewers at home. You can all be ready and wait, unless you have Twitch chat open, but I definitely wouldn't have Twitch chat open alongside watching a race. I mean, I do, because then I can read what the drivers are saying. I think we have about 5 minutes, so let's have a quick look at the strategies then, shall we? So Clark did in fact set his lap on the medium tyres. Codemasters were just lying to me. Tazonic in P2 on the softs. Pete and Brando also following suit on the red-walled soft tyres. Greg Stars 5th on the mediums. Havoc in 6th on the soft. Andrew 7th on the mediums. And then 5 P8 on the softs. And then Despair and Reese, both on the medium tyres, P9 and 10. I don't know if they'll actually get to change their tyres, considering they did crash out of Q2. But they did set those lap times, so maybe they can't. I'll have to wait and see. Paperstream at the moment, opting for the medium tyres. Gangster Al softs. Richard on the medium tyres. Butler on the softs. Apollo on the mediums. Bradford on the softs. And Eclipse on the mediums. As of this current moment, at least. That could maybe change, so I'll probably go back through it on the formation lap. But, right, predictions then, I suppose, is the next best thing to do. I'm going to say Tazonic P1, because I'm going to say Alfie's going to blow up, or he's going to retire because his force feedback will detonate. So Tazonic P1, Brando P2, Greg Stars P3. That's my prediction, I suppose. A little bit on the bold side, I guess. But we'll have to definitely wait and see. I mean, if all the chaos of Australia is anything to go by, then maybe this track would be even worse. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping not. It would be quite a nice challenge to see simulation damage kept on, just as long as the driving standards were up to it as well. But in all honesty, that was not the case in Australia. Well, some of it was, some of it wasn't. It was just super unlucky for a lot of it, but then there were definitely some cases. But hopefully the warnings have been heeded this week. We'll have to just wait and see how this goes, however. But only a maximum of 16 points up for grabs this time, so the championship should hopefully be a lot closer, given our new point system. But a win and fastest lap will only secure 16 points, so 10 less than real life. Hopefully meaning by season's end we're going to have a lot more drivers in with a chance at this constructors and drivers titles. We've had, I guess in the past, a lot of time to spare between a lot of champions. I believe our first champion, Pogu, I think he had 4 races to spare. Or 3 races to spare, because I think he missed a few in the beginning portion of the season. Season 2 was Bradford. He had, I think, 3 left to spare. Season 3 was Killian. I can't actually remember Killian. I don't think he had too many, though. I think he had 2. 2 or 3, anyway. Let Joe season 1 of SRL, or as I call it, just season 4 of SVOR. He had, I think, 4 races left, maybe a couple more. I'll definitely get this researched and sorted out for next time. And then myself, I had 3 races. I guess 4 if you count a sprint race. So I'll say 3.5 races I had left. After L charitable donation happened. But yeah, hopefully this time it will be the case of it will go to the end. It would be really nice to see a championship finale at the end. But we'll definitely have to wait and see. We should be about going now. Yeah, with a bit of luck. Yeah, there we go. Timer has started, so the formation lap is about to get underway for the start of this 27 lap race. Here in Suzuka. So yeah, round 2 of 2 of 15. So yeah, the next race is the last of the Australasian area, or yeah, the Australasian area. Sorry. Actually, no, it's not. It's the second to last because you have Singapore and then Baku. Next upcoming races before we then start the European leg. I can't fully remember how the European leg goes. I should have already researched that. And then the last leg is the Middle East, where we have basically all of the Middle Eastern tracks available to us. That bit I do remember. It's Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi as the finale. I guess one last send-off that we'll see for that track, with the god-awful chicane layout. But thankfully they're gone now, so we just have a dive bomb hairpin now for literally both of them, and then a very rounded off last sector. So let's have one quick look then at the strategies outside of the top 10. I won't go through the top 10 again. So Gangster, Paper Stream opting for the soft tyres, Gangster on mediums, Richard mediums, Butler on the softs, Apollo on the mediums, Bradford on the mediums, and Eclipse. Also on the yellow walled compound, no one opting for the hards. Strategy, the fast guys, especially the RF1 guys, I'm expecting 1 stops, medium to soft, or soft to medium, depending on which way around they go. I'm probably expecting another couple of soft to hard or medium to hard strategies as well, but maybe, we did see it last season, although there wasn't a stream of it unfortunately, the 2 Red Bulls, Pete and Greg Stars, 2-stopped this race, and they definitely had a lot going for them. They had a lot of pace. I think in the end it was actually P4 and 5 for the pair of the Red Bulls. So maybe the 1 stop is definitely the way to go, unless you have ludicrous pace to pull off that 2. But all will be definitely revealed very, very soon in the 27 laps that are about to unfold here in Japan at the Suzuka International Circuit. Clark detonating the bollards immediately. Completely unbelievable scenes, Jeff. That is a disqualification from the race. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's fine. So here we go then. Just waiting for the grid to form up. A fair bit of an air gap, I suppose, between Bradford and the rest of the field, really. What on earth is that camera angle? The microphone gone crackly. Oh god, hang on. Everything is broken. Hang on, bear with. Is that fixed? That was absolutely horrendous. Right, okay, well the sounds of it is fixed. However, the timing isn't. Apparently Brad's leading. So, yeah, really apologies I missed that start, but Tazonic's up into P1, Clara in P2, Brando into P3. It's really hard to tell with these timing issues. Pete is pulled into the pits and retired on lap 1. Apollo is out. I'm really not sure what happened there. I really do apologise. I honestly don't know what's happened with my mic being absolutely dreadful. Oh, Taz has almost gone round. He has gone round. Ferrari is round. He's given the lead back to his teammate. He's going to wait a long, long time to be able to rejoin the track safely. But ooh, we have I think a McLaren's gone round as well. That's Brad. But, right, there we go. Now I should be able to actually hear. Right, okay, here we go. I think everything's fixed itself now. But yeah, Brando currently in the back of Clark for the race lead. Havoc in P3. Greg Stiles in 4th. 5 Crown up to 5th. Hang on, let's quickly get the... There we go. So yeah, Havoc and... Oh, Brando's gone for the late lead here. But Brando up into the lead of the race on those soft tyres, just getting past Clark before 130R. Clark didn't put up too much of a fight there. Clark looking back here into turn 1. Oh, that's a very weird camera angle. That's pretty cool. But still on the back so far. Andrew, I think, has gone round, has he? Oh, he's lost a couple of positions. He might have gone wide. He's got front wing damage as well by the looks of it. But 5 also on the back of Greg Stars here. Battling, I guess, for the podium because Greg Stars is just behind Havoc. So a little three-way battle here so far for the podium. Oh, that's Despair round, I think. Not Despair, that's 5 round, sorry, in the background. Don't rejoin unsafely. I think he's got away with it. So virtual safety car has been deployed here at lap 3. Where's Jack? Oh, Jack's not got a front wing. Tazonic and so yeah, Tazonic down 12 positions after that spin in the S section, lap 2. Clark is on the back of Brando, getting ready for the safety car or virtual safety car restart. Pete's left the session after retiring in pits, lap 2. Oh, Eclipse is actually out now. He's retired at Spoon. Could that move to a full safety car? Andrew's pit. So that would definitely elevate Andrew to near the back of the field, but making advantage of the VSC, I suppose. Well, he has to because he has no front wing. DRS enabled, sector 2 yellows, but that is for Eclipse's car. It's Clark still riding the back of Brando here for P1. But Brando's definitely going to look to try and make some kind of move here. Oh, Tazonic I think has gone for another spin. It's Havoc as well closing in on the back of these two here. But Brando still leads the way. A fair few. You have I guess a bit of a DRS train about to form. A lot of people within a tenth of a second, sorry, of each other. Ooh, 5 goes wide. He's got no front wing, or half a front wing. So that's going to really affect 5's race. It's Reese on the back of Paper Stream. Paper Stream is nearing the back of, well, just about a second though. Clear as Butler gets past Gangster out into the Cassia Triangle. Reese, Paper Stream. Reese has got past the Haas. Oh, that's the spare round. Not exactly sure what happened there though. Did he have contact with anyone, or did he just maybe spin it on his own? Doesn't look like damage. I think he's fine. Couldn't quite check that myself. 5 grand pits, new front wing for the Aston Martin. Maybe set hard tyres or set medium tyres. Maybe try and go to the end, or try and hope for a safety car. No, is he surfed drive-through? No, okay, he's got a front wing. Okay, he's on medium tyres. I don't know what's happening in this race. Yeah, there we go. Let's get the tyre graphic back up. That's probably why I'm getting so confused. But Reese slowly closing in on the back of Greg Stars for P4. Brando has been re-overtaken by Clara as well. Clara starting to creep away. It's 1.6 seconds is the gap to the Mercedes. Greg Stars about 1 second behind. We have a spin. That's Richard, I believe. Yep, it's the other Mercedes. Rejoined safely. That's the Mercedes. But Brando. Hang on, why is this not working? There we go. My triggers are really bad. What is this with this controller? Brando getting a lot of understeer there through the S section. Definitely feeling the effects of dirty air. It's Greg Stars slowly closing in on the back of Havoc as well. Stars as well starting to drop Reese a little bit here. Reese using his battery now to start catching up. Havoc, only 13%, down a lot of ERS. But, Richard is out. That's out of turn 2. That is a full safety car. So we've had 2 VSCs and a full safety car now this race. But so that's going to kind of neutralise the race a little bit. Richard then leaves the session. So we have 4 DNFs so far, 6 laps into the race. 22 laps to go now. But this is definitely going to bring back the likes of 5 and 5 Andrew, Tazonic, that kind of lot back into this race. There's a lot of people pit. Reese doesn't. Reese stays out, as does Paperstream. Clark opting for the hard tyres, Brando for the mediums, Havoc for the mediums, Butler stays out. Greg Stars opt for the softs, Despair also for the softs, Gangster Al stays out, Bradford pits, Tazonic also pits. And then I'd imagine these two would stay out. Taz onto the medium tyres for the Ferrari. Bradford on the hards. He's going to go to the end of the race. Despair on the softs. Very interesting to call that. Andrew, interestingly, is pit. Hard tyres. Okay, that's actually understandable then. Hard tyres. Take him to the end of the race. 5 Crown back up into the top 10. So yeah, we're just going to kind of be neutralising the race so far at the moment. Just the safety car, but very interesting to see that Paperstream and Butler didn't pit. Maybe they're either banking on another safety car or they're just going to stick to their own strategy. But either way, they know what they're doing, so let's see how that plays out for them. But still at the moment it is Clark leading the race on a net P1 with Brando still net P2, Havoc still net P3. Gangster Al up into P7 at the moment after not pitting. But safety car definitely staying out for another couple of laps at least. No need for it to come in this early. Paperstream pits. Paperstream does his usual trademark wait an extra lap to pit. I'm not sure why he does it, but fair enough. I'm going to guess this is medium tyres? Or is this hard tyres? That's hard tyres. The white-walled tyres going on to the Haas, so he's done as usual, to be fair. So what Paperstream is kind of known for is the hard tyres. But bit of a running meme in SRL or in pretty much any league that Paperstream is in, his fabled hards. But, see where that gets him. I mean, it got him a podium last season here by pitting really early onto the hards and just going to the end of the race. It can definitely pay off indeed. But basically back as it was last week as well. Reese inheriting the lead under a safety car. Can he do the same magic? Can he rework the same magic that he did last week and inherit yet another race win? Back-to-back wins for the Alfa Romeo. But definitely have to see Alfie warming up his tyres like absolute mad, trying to get heat into those hards. But, I had to avoid yet another Komodo Dragon, which resulted in me rear-ending Butler. Ooh dear, that is big sad. I'm not sure where these Komodo Dragons keep coming from, but we'll have to sort these out. Safety car looks to be in this lap then. I didn't get the notification. Oh, okay. That's very late. Alright. That's... yeah, why is that so late? Okay, anyways, so racing about to resume then. Here in Japan, safety car is pulled off into the pits. Reese is definitely gone. Butler trying to stick with him, about 6 tenths of the gap. Clark's got a pretty good safety car restart as well. 5 Crown and Taz negotiating positions. 5 Crown is actually round. Not entirely sure what's happened there. Greg Star's wasting no time at all getting past Gangster out. Spare getting a little bit caught up behind the Hassett. Tries to go at the inside as Greg Stars slows right down. Not sure why. It's there's contact. That's wing damage for the AlphaTauri. There's absolute chaos in the midfield. The AlphaTauri just understeers wide, almost takes the Ferrari with him. It was a blocking Brad in the McLaren. But Greg Stars, I'm not sure why he let Gangster back through. Brad gets past the AlphaTauri now then into Degner 2. Spare gets out of the way. He's got literally no front wing now. Tazonic on the back of Greg Stars, goes for the switchback, gets the move done. Not entirely sure what's happened to Greg Stars then. He's got wing damage as well, lots of wing damage going on right now. Gangster out. He's passed by Tazonic in the Ferrari. He's going backwards. Is that more wing damage? No, Haslett's fine. Bradford gets past Greg Stars. And Clara and Butler going into combat into the Casio triangle. Round the outside goes the Ferrari, keeps it, his foot in, barges the Alpine out of the way. That allows the AlphaTauri to come through. That was a bit aggressive there from Clark. That was very aggressive. Oh, that's a very weird camera. Let's not do that. Havoc's got past Alpine as well. The Alpine as well. Clark on the back of Brando. This is allowing Reese to just drive off into the distance as per last week as well. But Despair and Greg Stars both into the pits for new front wings and a new set of tyres. Butler definitely going to be out for blood now after that little scrap. We have Bradford round in the McLaren. He joins the track nice and safely. Clark still hunting down the AlphaTauri of Brando, and these guys are definitely getting a lot closer to Reese now. Battle for the win could be coming on very, very soon indeed. But Havoc as well closing in on the Ferrari and bringing the Alpine of Butler along with him. Could have a very big scrap for P1 here. But Brando just outside of DRS at the moment. Well, DRS isn't enabled yet. I think maybe one more lap and then DRS will be online to open up that big letterbox in the rear wing if you're within 1 second of the car in front. Brando just outside that window. Clark hunting down the AlphaTauri. Doesn't send it. He's going to wait at the moment. Uses his overtake though out of the... there you go, DRS now enabled. And Clark uses his battery, uses his pace to get past the AlphaTauri of Brando. Up into P2. He's definitely going to be looking to go to the end. Andrew gets past Gangster out just before turn 1. Plenty of room before the braking zone. Paperstream closing in on his teammate as well. Havoc starting to close in on this little pair as well. But Brando's lost a fair chunk of time at the moment. He's about 8 tenths now behind Clark, but Clark is now within DRS of Reese. Could definitely be seeing a battle for the lead very soon between this lot. It's Havoc slowly dropping back a little bit, as is Butler. Those tyres definitely starting to be a lot more worn. Probably looking to pit very, very soon indeed. Will be the Alpine. It's going to drop him a fair way back. But maybe a couple more pit stops yet to come. We'll never know. Let's see how this race carries on and plays out. But Clark getting ever so closer now to Reese. That's a lovely camera shot there with the helicopter cam. But Clark is going to have the DRS this time. Reese defends to the inside. Clark, it's the fastest lap of the race. Alfa Romeo straight to the inside. Clark not quite close enough to go for a send. Didn't want to risk it. The smart thing to do at the moment. Still a long way to go this race. Oh, as Reese got on the curb there at the beginning part of the S section, almost spat him out into the wall, but I think he's fine with it. Clark is so close coming out of the Dunlop curve. There's no room to overtake right now. It's going to be very ballsy to go for a move here. I'm going to set him up for the hairpin, I'd imagine. Here we go, using the overtake. Reese defends to the inside. Clark just swoops on around the outside. Bradford is out in the S section. Reese overtakes. The safety car has been deployed. Got a little bit of a wheel graze from the top two there. Spare picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It's the first penalty of the race. But Reese manages to get through on Clark before the safety car came out. That leaves 12 then. We've lost 5 in 12 laps. But, so we've lost Apollo, Pete, Eclipse, Richard and Bradford all out at the Japanese Grand Prix here in SRL Season 3, round number 2. This could definitely play into the hands of Reese, who doesn't pit. That's very interesting. Butler definitely dives into the pits, no need not to. For the Alpine. Anyone on hards I'd imagine won't pit. Gangster Al does pit. It's a smart thing to do. Grey Stars is a fair way back. But about halfway through the race now, or thereabouts. Not too far off. Definitely be halfway at the end of the safety car. This is safety car number 4. So we've had 2 VSCs, 2 normal safety cars, so we've got 2 left. Were there to be any more incidents this race, we only have 2 slots left of the safety car / virtual safety car quota. Despera's pit onto a set of mediums to go to the end of the race. Butler goes onto the mediums as well. Gangster on the hards, and then everyone else obviously staying out. I'm a bit puzzled as to why Reese has stayed out. Not sure if that's the right decision, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so probably another lap while we wait for the rest of the grid to catch up. So just waiting for these 4 cars here, P9 down to P12. To catch up, form the safety car queue, and then the safety car should be able to be in the next racing, or the next lap to resume racing. But in the meantime, if you have missed the action here in SRL Season 3 Round 2, here at Suzuka, all you need to do is press the big red button on your Sky remote if you are a Sky Glass or Sky Q customer, and you will be able to watch the action, the real action, along with the action that had just gone if you were only just joining us for whatever reason. As we have a bit of action in the pit lane, we have Andrew coming in, as well as Paperstream. Medium tyres for Andrew, and I think it will be the same for Paperstream. Yes, it is indeed. So that only leaves Gangster Al and Klar on the hard tyres. And that would be... I'm still very puzzled as to why Reese hasn't pit. I guess these safety cars are helping because then he could pit near the end for a set of softs and then just blitz it. I suppose that would be a good call at the end, but that's going to really be touch and run, especially if he's basically going to be a pit stop behind. And then he's only going to have probably about, well, depending on when he pits, maybe say like 12 laps. If he pits like, say, lap 19, or no, not lap 19, lap... Well, if we say lap 17, he's going to have 10 laps, or 11 laps. To try and regain all that time. So he's definitely going to be needing another safety car, at least, to aid his chances. But definitely as it stands, well, Reese would extend his championship lead. Pete is going to lose out a very big chunk. He's out of the race. Clark will jump a fair way up, I believe. Ferrari will also be up there in the constructors, looking at this. But I really can't do the maths off the top of my head. I'm really bad at this kind of thing. That is the latest safety car in this lap call I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh yeah, we're just going to call it in literally at the last chicane. But okay, racing is resumed. Very, very late indeed. Reese had pretty much no time to prepare himself for that. But holds on to the lead for now over Clara. But Clara is definitely going to be closing in on those much fresher tyres. Reese has been on those since the very race start. And it's only 7 laps old. Hard on the Ferrari as he touches the curb, saves the car though. Those curves look absolutely lethal out there. Was Butler, I think, maybe almost went for a spin there. He's lost a lot of time and is very, very slow through the S section. Might have almost spun or something, but Clark goes down the inside of the hairpin, absolutely sends it on the Alfa Romeo. No contact made, fair racing between the two. But, Andrew gets past Despair, I think, at the hairpin as well. They're still side by side. Try and have a little look at this. Despair is through. Clark is on the back of Reese here. Reese goes very wide. That'll probably be a warning for track limits. But Clark looking maybe to the outside of 130R. Surely not. A very similar ERS here, but Clark absolutely gets a massive boost of overspeed around the outside into the Casio triangle, not quite able to send it round the outside, but he's set up the exit very nicely indeed. Andrew and Despair battling again as well, but Clark looking to try and retake the lead here in Suzuka. Goes to the outside of turn 1, sends it round the outside. Nothing Reese could have really done. Oh, a tiny bit of contact maybe, but Clark back up into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Brando on the back of this little battle as well. Despair, I think, has gone round. 5 Crowners pit. Five is losing not 5. Brando is losing so much time at the moment behind Reese. It's already 1.5 seconds. 1.6 now to Clyde. He's just going to run off into the distance at the moment unless Brando can get past Reese and then start catching him as quickly as possible to maximise his chances of a race win here in SRL. Could be back-to-back wins for Brando here. He won last night in a different league, and he could maybe win tonight as well. Paperstream and Gangster Al trade places as well, think into the hairpin. Paperstream getting through on his teammate on the much fresher and better tyre compound. But Tazonic also looking with Havoc on the back of this little battle. We have a 4-way battle for P2 here. Clara's absolutely disappeared off into the distance. But Brando here slipstreaming the Alfa Romeo, tiny bit wide. Is he going to send it around the outside? No, the Alfa Romeo covers him off. Everyone's just lining up, trying to have a go at each other here. Havoc has a pretty poor run out of the Casio triangle. Tazonic going to pounce on this opportunity, using his overtake, trying to pick up a slipstream, just can't do it though. Havoc is going to so far keep P4. But it's still line astern with these 4 drivers here. It's Reese is definitely holding up these guys a lot in the grand scheme of this race. Clara's absolutely disappeared off into the distance. Butler is on the back of this train now as well. All aboard the Alfa Romeo Express. It's going to be looking for a way past, surely. Sometime soon will be Brando. The sooner the better. It's going to really hurt his race if he stays here any longer. As 5 gets past Despair, as Despair is in the pits. It's Tazonet closed up massively on Havoc there. Is he close enough for a move into Spoon? Surely not. Havoc covers him off nicely. Or a little bit wide from the Ferrari maybe. I think he's just about got away with it though, because it will actually set him up quite nicely for this run here, but he just had slightly better runs. Oh, we have a spin, that's Butler around. Out of Spoon. I'm not entirely sure, did he drop it on the curb? That's really unfortunate for Butler. Oh, he's been collected by someone, I think. Trying to rejoin the circuit. Safety car has been deployed. And that's going to really help Reese here. Literally what I was saying, lap 17. Soft tyres to the end for Reese. Havoc pits as well, Taz pits, Greg Stars as well. Everyone is going to come in. Gangster Al has no front wing, so I guess that's my guess there. Gangster Al went into the side of Butler when Butler was trying to rejoin the circuit. Well, that's an unsafe release from Andrew. Into the path of Paper Stream there. Luckily there's ghosting in the pits. But this has definitely turned this race on its head. It's now Clar and Brando, both on 10 lap old hards and mediums respectively, have got an entire grid down to P8 on softs behind. You've got mediums, and then you're also going to have the spare, I'd imagine, chuck on a set of softs, as will 5 Crown. 5 Crown has no front wing, but yep, soft tyres for him, and soft tyres for the other Alpha Tauri of the spare. But this has definitely shaken up the last few stages of this race. So we have about 10 laps as of this point to go. I'm going to guess either 9 or 8 by the time the safety car actually comes in. It just depends on when the safety car comes in. I'm maybe going to guess lap 20, but then again, it has literally been called in at the chicane before, so it wouldn't surprise me, depending on when it comes in or not. Well, so far it's staying out at least. But Clar and Brando are going to have a lot of work to do here to try and keep everyone behind them. This could end not very nicely. I'll have to wait and see. This is shaping up to be a very exciting end to the race at least. Butler, F's sake, that was poor from me, expecting a penalty. Is that for what's happened with Gangster Al, I'd imagine, where after the spin at Spoon? It depends if he's recorded it or not. I mean, it's just super unfortunate anyway for you, man. Feels bad. But we'll have to see. Poor yeah, I had a feeling that was it. Poor rejoin on the track, a spun at Spoon. It's just unfortunate, man, I think. We'll have to wait and see. Realised I was not going to be able to flick it around. Oh, I tried to flick it around, realised I was not able to. I tried to get out of the way. Yikes. motion sickness staying on board with Clark when he weaves. It's definitely not the one at all. But safety car at the moment is staying out an extra lap, but I'm expecting it to maybe end. Oh my god, please. No, there you go, safety car is in this lap. There we go. Alfie going to be setting the pace. He's definitely going to have a lot of work to do to keep these guys on much quicker tyres behind. And he's gone just before the start of the pit lane. Havoc's got a pretty good run. They've kind of gapped Taz a little bit here. Top three are kind of just running off at the moment. But Brando so far, well, they're both keeping their position so far off the restart at least. 7 laps left, or 8 laps left should I say. It's Havoc rides the curb, gets away with it though. It's sneaking through the grid to spare. About to make a move. Oh, contact between him and Gangster Al. Or 5, well avoided. The hat at least. The Alpha Tower is going to have damage as well. Ooh. Is he going to absolutely send it? Yes, he does. Down the inside of the hairpin. The spare does have damage. There's no point in fighting that. 5 grand up into P9. It's Reese on the back of Greg Stars here. Brando 1.6 seconds now behind Clark. So Clark doing basically everything he needed to do, but Brando is under serious pressure here from Havoc Taz, mainly at the moment, but Greg Stars looming ever closer, as is Reese, Andrew, Paper Stream slowly getting there as well, but Havoc goes for the move on Brando in the Casio triangle. Brando tries to hang it back around the outside and does so. What a move. And Taz just absolutely picks up the pieces there. Taz, what a beautiful move from the Ferrari there. He picks up the slack from the Mercedes. Now going around the outside of the AlphaTauri. It's turn 1, surely not. A little tiny bit wide. Oh, picks up a penalty. It's going a tiny bit too wide as Reese gets past Greg Stars as well. But now we've got a big train so far now, but this is allowing Clark to absolutely run off into the distance. This is everything Clark wanted, but nothing at all that Brando wanted. But Taz as well, really unfortunate to get that penalty there, just running a fraction too wide at the first 2 corners. That's affected, that could definitely affect the end of his race, unless a lot of penalties happen behind. It's quite easy to pick up penalties at this track, but we have only had 3 so far. Oh, Taz getting very, very close to the back of Brando there. But Havoc keeping, just about keeping touch with these guys, as is Reese and Greg Stars. Andrew slowly coming into the shot as well. There he is. But so far, Brando's having a tiny bit of breathing space here. He's got about half a second. Oh, it's coming down now though. The overspeed of the Ferrari. Is he not close enough to make a move just yet? Reese, however, absolutely sends it down the inside of Havoc. Not quite close enough there, but that puts Havoc off for the last part of the Casio triangle. Going around the final corner now, tries to hang it around the outside, but the overspeed, here we go, is now going to work in favour of the Alfa Romeo. The Red Bull's going to try and slot on through here as well, past Havoc, around the outside of turn 1. Havoc leaves space. Greg Stars couldn't pull it off though. Oh, almost spins. Andrew, great reaction times there from the Alpine to not pick up damage there, but so far Ferrari 1-2. Tazonic now just has to pull away from Brando here. I missed that move. But yeah, Ferrari's now lining 1 and 2. It's just Taz now has to pull another 2.5 seconds on Brando in the last 5 laps of this race here, as Andrew gets past Greg Stars. That was taking the 2. But so far, all these drivers lining line astern at the moment, all behind Brando. Brando's still within DRS, or just out of it now. But he's trying to hang on desperately for his life here on the back of Taz, but all he has to do is try and keep that gap at 3 seconds. Havoc has literally no ERS though. That's going to really hurt him soon. He's going to definitely start losing a lot of time. Reese here on Brando, round the outside of the Casio triangle. Can't quite get the move done though. Brando covers it off very nicely indeed. Brando though, round the he's going to have the Alfa Romeo around the outside, coming down the last corner. Letterbox in the rear wing open, nothing Brando can do there. Defends against Havoc. Havoc swoops around the outside of turn 1 though. Brando keeps it up the inside for turn 2. Just about keeps it ahead of the Mercedes at least. But that's at least going to be a car that should be able to give him DRS, providing he can keep with Reese. But now Reese as well, if he can keep within the gap to Taz, he can inherit P3. As Gangster Al gets past the spare. But, Andrew on the back of the Mercedes as well. Oh, Havoc's had a really dodgy line through Degner 2 there. Is that going to allow Andrew to send it down the inside of the hairpin? I think he's going to definitely go for it. Here he goes. Pushes the Mercedes wide slightly. It's P5 now for Andrew. But Havoc coming back here at Spoon. Goes to the inside. Greg starts just behind these guys as well. Oh, a little bit of contact to the back of the Alpine. I don't know if that's going to be damage or not. Knowing simulation, it probably could be. But a slight little tap like that could still spell disaster. Brando almost was just hanging on to DRS. I think he's just lost it now, just before the detection zone. So this could leave him a sitting duck once more on this straight. Andrew now coming around the last corner. He's got no ERS himself. But is he going to go for the move here into turn 1? Maybe a little bit too far back. Yeah, just a tiny bit too far. Brando holds on to P4 at this moment in time. Reese 1.8 seconds behind Taz. Taz with a penalty only needs another 1.2 seconds on the Alfa Romeo, and that will be P2 secure. He's at least getting a podium at the moment, but Taz just needs to keep pushing, maximise his chances of getting that Ferrari 1-2. But Clara at the moment has done absolute wonders to hold on to the lead in the other Ferrari on those hard tyres. But he's definitely had a brilliant scapegoat in the place of Brando. But Havoc and Greg Stars will be, or still Andrew as well. There's still 3 people left to pass the AlphaTauri, so Brando can still definitely hang on to at least a P4 here at this current moment in time. But Reese 2 seconds now behind Tazonic. Tazonic has no ERS as well. He's been draining it, just trying to get the gap. But Greg Stars 2 tenths behind. Class, fastest lap of the race in 17 lap old hards. But DRS for the Red Bull. Is he going to be close enough? Is anyone here close enough to start making moves? Not quite by the looks of it. Lots of ERS lights flashing. That's a lot of ERS depletion there. You got 13, 8% and 25 in this little train. Taz 13 as well, 21 for Reese. Running on board here. 5 crowns slowly catching these guys as well. 5 does have a penalty as well. But, Greg Stars carrying on, trying to get past this Mercedes. And Andrew not finding a way past Brando either, but he's losing a fair bit of time now. Brando is just a bit more comfortable as it seems right now. Andrew not quite closing in on him too much. Havoc though is on the back of Andrew. So I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. I know you probably don't need reminding, but thank you for the reminder. I did need one. I completely forgot about that. But Taz has another 3-second time penalty as Andrew covers off Havoc. Coming out 130R, Clark again sets the fastest lap of the race. So that's 6 seconds that Taz is going to drop. So that's going to be a huge loss for Tazonic. But, I completely forgot about that. Still busy thinking about everything this race. 5 is on the back of this little train now as well. This train goes all the way up to P4, but this could definitely be the battle for P3 depending on the finishing times. Despair pits on lap 26. Maybe going to try and go fastest lap, I suppose. Get the extra point. Nothing really to lose. Gangster Hour gets a penalty. But, Andrew on the back now. Oh, as 5 Crown gets past Despair. 5 Crown gets past Greg Star, sorry. Up into P7 for the Aston Martin. That will not really amount to anything as he does have a 3-second time penalty. As, ooh, Havoc's gone really wide there. I don't know if he was just a bit off-put. Or maybe a tiny bit of damage. I don't think he has. It looks fine right now, but Havoc not quite close enough for a move just yet. Tries to use the overspeed at 130R, goes around the outside, switches to the inside of the Casio triangle, sends it, but given no room as 5 barges his way through. A little bit of contact, or a fair bit of contact should I say. I don't know if that's given 5 damage. I think he's fine, but 5 up into P6 now. It's ahead of Havoc and Greg Stars. Andrew's going to have one last opportunity here to get past Brando. But, I'm just trying to work this out now. I'll have to try and work it out when it actually crosses the line, because I can't do rolling maths. I think Taz drops to P4 at the moment. Even with, so his in-game 3 and his other 3-second time penalty. This Gangster has gone for a spin. Yeah, definitely have to wait and see when we cross the line and everything. Might even stay P3, we'll have to wait and see. Just because of the gap that Brando has, well, behind, or Reese has behind Brando. Should have saved it. Oh, Havoc's gone for a spin! Is that going to affect him a fair bit? I think so, because he's going to lose a place to Paper Stream. Holds it to the inside on the grass and might lose a position. No, he won't lose a position to the Red Bull, but Clark completely missed that. Wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Tazonic crosses the line P2. I'll have to wait and see where he actually finishes. But Taz will stay P3. Yeah, by 0.5 of a second stays P3. Brando 4th. Andrew 5th. 5 Crown picks up P6. Paper Stream, no he doesn't, because Paper Stream picks up P6. Havoc P7, 5 P8. So did he have 6 seconds then? Greg Star's P9 with that front wing. And Despair, I think, going for fastest lap here. Gangster Al finishes P11. Let's have a quick look. Penalties. Oh, it doesn't say. I'll have to wait until the end of the race then. But yeah, Taz keeps P3, so your top 3 then, FRT Clark, Reese Simo and Tazonic. Let's just see then Despair rounding the last couple of corners now. Is he going to get fastest lap? He's used all of his ERS. I don't think he did. But Reese gets driver of the day. 5 didn't have a penalty. He did. He had a time penalty. Not from off track, but on track. He got at least 3 seconds. Brando with half a car gets P4. What a legend. It's all Ferrari power unit. So why did it say you had a penalty then? we'll check the race director once this loads. Race director. Incidents. Yeah, what's that? 5 crown, multiple warnings, 3 seconds. 5 crown, corner cutting, 3 seconds. 5 crown, corner cutting, 3 seconds. That's 9 seconds. So how many of those need removing then? But even then, you've still got 1 by the looks of it. Well, as long as he's recorded it, then they could get removed. Like, recorded it and then record your race director and whatnot, and then it could get removed. But according to this, you got a penalty. But, alright, we'll have a look at that later then. I have to invite everyone when I get back to the lobby. Just thinking about it. I should be able to... Actually, I can invite Taz and Clara at least like this, because they're on my friends list. 1, 2... and... 3. There we go. Right, there's 1. Hello. I just need Taz and Reese now. There's Taz. Just need 1 more now. Well, I guess I can start while we wait for Reese. So then, top 3 of round 2, Japanese Grand Prix. P1, FRT Clark, P2, Reese, and P3, Tazonic. I'll go the real life format this time, so I'll start P3 with Tazonic. Very up and down race, from what I saw from yourself. I mean, 1 minute you were round, 1 minute you were P2, 1 minute you were round again, and then you came away with P3, even despite your... I mean, I don't know, to be fair, because apparently 5 got loads of penalties that didn't exist. I don't know if your penalty existed as well. Well, 3-second track limits one.
It was a bit of a... Yeah, it did exist. I got... Well, it was obviously Brando's defending, so it was entitled to defend, but he pushed me onto the curb. And obviously this game is quite strict with its track limits, so just touching the curb gave me a warning, which gave me a pen. But I'm not going to dispute it, because I'm not like that.
Okay, fair enough. I was say, yeah, wasn't sure if it was a phantom penalty or not. Because I've had reports of there are, but then it is 5, so I don't really believe it. I think he's just moaning. But then, yeah, even with your off-track penalty as well, but you still keep P3 by half a second over Brando. I'm not sure if Brando will be too happy to hear that bit, but I mean, still, well done anyway. But yeah, it's such a roller coaster of a race from you. Like I said, 1 minute you're in the gravel, and then
I was very,
if you want to give us a bit of
happy with P2. I was not expecting it at all. I'm not really a great qualifier, so getting a front row lockout for Ferrari as well was absolutely mega. And of course, in typical Ferrari fashion, part of the master plan was spinning it for me. So I spun. Luckily, I managed to. Luckily the car managed to stop in time, unlike last week in Australia, where it managed to stop quick enough. Yeah, then got going again. I think it was the next lap, I spun again in the same corner. So obviously it was going to be a great race. Tyres were done at that point as well, but luckily the safety cars came out, brought me right back into contention, and then sort of driving my race through, and I sort of managed to luck my way up with the front guys, and then I sort of capitalised on the final safety car, put the softs on. Obviously Havoc and Brando having a very hard battle. Got ahead of Havoc obviously like that. Brando did some pretty stellar defending, I'm not gonna lie. He did quite well considering he had side pod down. I think side pod and diffuser damage, he said. So, but I managed to do a nice little sweep move on him around the outside of turn 1, so I was quite happy with that. And yeah, all it was really was just trying to do some as quick laps as I could, because I knew I had the 3 second from last week. and obviously I had a 3-second one from this one, so I was trying to make the 6-second gap to Brando. I wasn't too worried about Reese because I knew he'd get me anyway with the extra penalty. So my only interest was getting 6 seconds ahead of Brando, which luckily I did. So happily I keep P3. Yeah,
congratulations on that. It's really good, enjoyable battle, to be fair, the watch between all you lot at the end of that race. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't actually see initially, because I was watching Havoc and Brando battle, and then I just saw a Ferrari appear out of nowhere. I was like, oh, hello, Taz is here. I was like, what legend, he's just appeared. It's, yeah, massive congratulations on your P3 anyway, especially given the race you had. So, yeah, very, very well done indeed. Moving on then to P2, Reese, the man that loves the podium so far this season. P1 last week, P2 this week. So are we going to expect a P3 next week at Singapore? Just to, you know, fill the quota, I suppose, of finishing on all 3 parts of the podium. But yeah, I guess your race, like last week, was pretty quiet from what I saw. But then I was really puzzled as why you didn't pit under the safety cars, but then you did pit at the end, and then it was like, it's all coming together now, I get it. Waiting for that last safety car, got on those softs, and claimed P2 right at the end of it. But yeah, must be happy with back-to-back podiums. Give us a bit of an overview for your weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, I'm much happier this week than I was last week. I think with last week there was what, 6 finishes, so the win was still great, but I think starting P10 at Suzuka and coming to P2 I was definitely happy with. And yeah, with the safety car, I was so close to pitting on, so it was the second safety car, I'm pretty sure. I was so close to coming in for the hards, but I was in a party with a friend and they convinced me to stay out, which was either going to pay off big time with another safety car, which luckily it did, or be suicide. Luckily it paid off. And then yeah, the end was just really trying to keep up with the Ferraris, but they were so quick. I know Clark was behind me for one of the safety car restarts, and I
think it was the first one.
Yeah, I was on the old mediums trying so hard, but yeah, very happy with P2.
Well, yeah, congratulations anyway. Back-to-back podiums, definitely nothing to be snuffed at. You still definitely keep your lead in the Drivers' Championship so far. I think Alfa Romeo still lead the Constructors as well, but I'll get that confirmed in about half an hour's time when the standings are actually complete. But yeah, nevertheless, massive congratulations. Driver of the day as well, I'll definitely say. P10 to P2 at Suzuka is very, very impressive.
Thank you.
So yeah, driver of the day definitely goes to you. So moving on then to, I'm going to call you Mr. Lewis Hamilton for this, because set the fastest lap of the race on like 16 lap old hards or something like that. Like just destroyed hards is like, yeah, just chuck in a fastest lap because why not? Clark, back-to-back poles, but this time it was converted into a win. Had that moment where you were behind Reese on the first safety car restart, but then once you got past him, basically never looked back. I thought there was going to be a bit of a scare maybe at the end of that race with all the guys on softs, but Brando, I guess, did absolute wonders for you by battling them so hard, and you just were able to absolutely drive off into the distance and claim a pretty dominant race win. So just give us a bit of a overview for you.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't easy because this track is not great when you're on tyres that aren't ideal. But yeah, I mean, like just talking about our fastest lap is because I saved up my ERS. That's the only reason. I just begged it on every single straight. But yeah, like you said with Reese, that was annoying. Can't lie. I tried every trick in the book to not have to force my way past him. Switchbacks, trying to bait moves, nothing worked. So eventually I just had to try my luck around the other side, and I got it. And yeah, I just had to push as much as I could on the hards, and try and build a gap to everyone else in case there was another safety car or virtual. Sorry. Yeah, just drove basically.
Well, your driving definitely caught you a race win, so always one of the fastest men out there, if not always the fastest. So yeah, really well done for a really good P1 drive there. So that's 16 points in the bag for you with the new point system that we run.
What is there different points?
Yeah, it's 15 for a race win rather than 25. So it's a bit more closer. It's kind of what it's designed to do.
So like, if you
But,
finish P2, you don't lose that many points.
You lose 3 compared to P1.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it's 15, 12, 10 for the podium. So at least you got 26 points, well, plus your 9. So you're on 35 points for Ferrari in total at the moment, I think.
Where
off the top of my head.
are we in? Where's my personal championship? Do you know?
Your personal championship. Well, given that you just won 26, I think you'll still be. I think you'll be P2 because Pete didn't finish.
Where's
So
Reese?
P2 at
So
the moment.
Reese is
P1.
another.
Reese
yeah.
P1 because he's
Yeah.
P1, P2.
Alright, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, definitely getting there in this title fight. Hopefully it's going to be a bit closer, especially with this point system. But nevertheless, congratulations on that pole, fastest lap, and race win. But yeah, that has been pretty much it then for the Japanese Grand Prix. A much more sound race, I'll call it, than last week. A lot less chaos, a lot less crashing. So it seems a bit more of a success, but it will still be discussed later on if, well, the future of sim damage. But anyway, it's definitely been a pleasure to watch this one. We'll be back next week for the Singapore Grand Prix. So if sim damage is on, that's definitely going to be a fun one to watch. But thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next week.